Level up your English from basic to intermediate and advanced. Blow your own trumpet. To talk proudly about yourself or your achievements. Example: don't blow your own trumpet too much, or people might think you're showing off. To boast or praise yourself, often in a way that others might find a bit arrogant. Example: I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I did manage to finish the project ahead of schedule. To indulge in self-congratulatory remarks, typically highlighting one's own accomplishments, sometimes with a touch of irony or self-awareness. Example: academics are often accused of blowing their own trumpet when they cite their previous work extensively. Roster. A list of people who have jobs or duties at certain times. Example: the teacher made a roster to show who cleans the classroom each day. A schedule or record that shows names, roles, or times when people are expected to work or take part. Example: the hospital updates the roster weekly so nurses know their duties. An official or structured register, detailing personnel assignments, responsibilities, or membership. Example: the university maintains a roster of visiting scholars to coordinate lectures and seminars. Lucrative. Something that makes a lot of money. Example: selling ice cream in summer can be very lucrative. Describes an activity, job, or business that brings in good profits or financial rewards. Example: investing in property has proved lucrative for many families. Highly profitable, often implying sustained financial gain or advantageous returns, sometimes contrasted with less rewarding pursuits. Example: the consultancy secured several lucrative contracts with multinational firms, ensuring long-term financial stability. Crack up. To suddenly start laughing. Example: when she told the joke, we all cracked up. To laugh uncontrollably. To become mentally or emotionally weak. Example: after months of stress, he felt he was cracking up and needed a holiday. To break down emotionally or mentally under pressure. To suffer a collapse, either figuratively, mental health, or literally, machines, structures. Example: the old bridge began to crack up under the weight of heavy lorries. Demise. Death. Example: the newspaper reported the actor's sudden demise. Death. Formal, respectful. The end of something. Example: the demise of the old cinema left the town without entertainment. Formal, legal term for death, often used in obituaries or law. The collapse or downfall of institutions, systems, or ideas. Example: historians still debate the causes behind the demise of the Roman Empire. Nest egg. Money saved for the future. Example: he built a nest egg to buy a car. Savings set aside, often for a special purpose like retirement or emergencies. Example: they use their nest egg to pay for their children's education. A financial reserve accumulated over time, typically invested or preserved to ensure long-term security. Example: his carefully managed nest egg allowed him to retire early and live comfortably. Proverbial. Mentioned in a proverb or common saying. Example: he arrived at the proverbial 11th hour, meaning very late. Well-known or commonly referred to. A cliché or familiar phrase. Example: he finally found the proverbial needle in a haystack. Symbolic, stereotypical, or widely recognized through repeated sayings. Used ironically to highlight overused expressions. Example: his patience was tested to the proverbial limit, echoing the cliché of endless endurance. Fatigue. Tiredness. To make someone tired. Example, after the long walk, she felt fatigue. Strong tiredness from work, exercise, or stress. To wear someone out or weaken them. Example, the endless meetings fatigued the staff. Extreme exhaustion, sometimes chronic. Weakening of material due to repeated stress. To exhaust or reduce strength, physically or mentally. Example, repeated bending fatigued the steel beam. Phenomenon. Something that happens and can be seen or noticed. Example, rainbows are a natural phenomenon. An unusual or remarkable event or fact. Something that attracts attention because it is special. Example, the internet became a global phenomenon in the 1990s. A fact, occurrence, or circumstance observed, often studied scientifically. An extraordinary person, event, or trend that stands out in society or history. Example, Shakespeare remains a literary phenomenon, influencing writers for centuries. Tax. Money people pay to the government. Make people pay money. Example, everyone pays tax on their salary. A compulsory payment to the government, often on income, goods, or property. To charge money officially, or to burden someone. Example, the council taxes homeowners to fund local services. A financial levy imposed by the state to fund public expenditure. A strain or burden. To impose a financial duty. To demand heavily, either financially or mentally. Example, his patience was severely taxed by the endless delays. Teach a pig to sing. Trying to do something that cannot be done. Example, teaching him maths is like trying to teach a pig to sing. He just doesn't understand. Attempting a hopeless or impractical task. Doing something that only frustrates you and doesn't help. Example, she realized arguing with him was like trying to teach a pig to sing. It annoyed her more than him. Futile effort. Highlighting wasted energy or misdirected teaching. Trying to change someone or something against its nature is absurd. Example, the manager warned that trying to reform the outdated system without support was like trying to teach a pig to sing. Tinker. To try to fix or adjust something in a simple way, often without skill. Example, she tinkered with the broken clock until it ticked again. To make small changes or experiments. Usually to improve or test something. Example, the mechanic tinkered with the engine to make it run smoother. To make superficial or piecemeal adjustments, often seen as ineffective or meddling. Example, the committee's tinkering at the edges of the problem achieved little lasting change. Fiscal. Related to money, especially government money. Example, the country has fiscal problems because it spends too much. Connected with public finances, taxation, and government budgets. Example, fiscal measures were introduced to support small businesses during the recession. Pertaining to the broader system of government revenue and expenditure, often contrasted with monetary policy. Example, fiscal consolidation is essential to ensure long-term economic sustainability. Happen to do. By chance, not planned. Example, I happened to see my friend at the shop. Coincidentally. Often politely or casually. Example, if you happen to be free tomorrow, we could meet for lunch. Softens statements, adds politeness, or highlights unexpectedness. Example, I happen to disagree with that view, though I respect your opinion. Bash. To hit something hard. Example, she bashed the ball against the wall. To criticize someone or something strongly. Often unfairly. Example, he keeps bashing politicians for their mistakes. Aggressive verbal attacks, public condemnation, or organized events. Example: they threw a huge bash to celebrate the anniversary. Put someone on a pedestal. To admire someone too much, as if they are perfect. Example: she puts her teacher on a pedestal and thinks he can do no wrong. To idealize or over-respect someone, often ignoring their flaws. Example: fans often put celebrities on a pedestal, forgetting they are ordinary people too. To elevate someone to an unrealistic or symbolic status, often leading to disappointment when reality intrudes. Example: by putting her husband on a pedestal, she created an unequal dynamic that strained the relationship. Front load. To do more of something at the beginning instead of spreading it out. Example: she front-loaded her homework so she could relax later. To arrange work, spending, or effort so that most happens at the start. Example: he front-loaded his revision in the first week to ease pressure before exams. To allocate or concentrate resources, obligations, or activities disproportionately at the outset of a process. Example: fiscal policy was front-loaded to stimulate demand, with later measures tapering off. Congruent. Things that are the same in shape and size. Example: the two triangles are congruent because they look exactly the same. Things that fit well together or agree with each other. Example: his actions were congruent with his words. In agreement or correspondence. Example: the theory is congruent with established research in behavioral economics. Crumble. To break into small pieces. Example: he crumbled the bread into the soup. To fall apart or weaken, either physically or emotionally. Example: her confidence crumbled when she forgot her lines on stage. To disintegrate or collapse gradually. Example: trust in the organization crumbled after repeated scandals. Sentient. Able to feel or notice things. Example: humans are sentient because they can feel pain and happiness. Having the ability to perceive, experience, or be conscious of surroundings. Example: many argue that dolphins are sentient creatures because they show emotions. Possessing self-awareness, consciousness, and the capacity for subjective experience. Example: philosophers debate whether artificial intelligence could ever become truly sentient, with genuine consciousness.